In this video, we're going to answer the question, what documents do you need to prepare and file your bankruptcy, and why? So stay tuned, bankruptcy bailout buddies. Welcome, debtors and borrowers, to Bankruptcy Bailout, because debt ruins lives, not bankruptcy. Remember, bankruptcy is your bailout. It is the solution to your debt and financial challenges, because the government really isn't going to bail you out. The banks are not going to bail you out, but bankruptcy has always been here waiting to be your solution to your financial challenges. So let's get into the video. Today we're talking about what documents do you need to prepare and file bankruptcy. So whether you're trying to file bankruptcy on your own or whether you're going to be filing with an attorney, these are the documents you're going to need in order to prepare your case. So let's get into the list. First up, valid driver's license or photo ID. The key is it just has to be valid. Next up, Social Security card or proof of your Social Security number. Now ideally, like I said, that should be your Social Security card, but a W-2 from an employer will work as well. The key is that the document has to be generated by a third party. So for example, a tax return, which is something you generate, will not suffice as proof of your Social Security number. So if you don't have your Social Security card, go request a copy from the Social Security Administration. Next up, proof of income. Now here, you will need 6 months of pay stubs. So that's every pay stub for the last 6 months. And if you're married, you'll need your spouse's pay stubs as well. And that's true even if you're not doing a joint bankruptcy. So even if it's just you filing bankruptcy and you're married, your spouse's income is still a factor in your bankruptcy. So you will need both 6 months of your pay stubs and 6 months of your spouse's pay stubs. So the reason for this is we need to generate the means test or determine whether you're over or under your state's median income to qualify you for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So, and there's other reasons you need the 6 months as well. The means test has other things it does. But the initial starting point is just to determine your 6 months of income, and then we calculate an annualized average based on that, and then compare that to the median income to determine whether you presumptively qualify for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. After that, proof of other sources of income. Ideally 6 months worth, but you may not have pay stubs for those sources of income. An example would be here, Social Security benefits or unemployment benefits. So in those cases, we'll want to see maybe the statement of benefit that tells you, what you're going to be getting, and then the transaction history or the deposit history of whatever account those benefits are going into. All right, next up, bank accounts. Generally, I'm going to want to see 3 months of bank statements, sometimes 6, but usually at least 3 months of bank statements. This is more for verification. We're looking to see, is your income being deposited into the account? Does it match up the other records we have? And then we're looking for out-of-the-ordinary transactions or out-of-the-ordinary deposits, because those will have to be explained, or we need to understand why those are. So you're going to need at least 3 months of bank statements. And then after that, the most recent statement from any other type of financial account. So this would be 401k, life insurance, brokerage accounts, that sort of thing. So just the most recent statement so we can see what's in those accounts so we can address how to deal with them. All right, what else do we need? I already mentioned life insurance, so just any life insurance policy declaration document, we'll need proof of that. All right, debts. This is an easy one, mostly. You'll want to get copies of your credit reports. The best place to get this is from annualcreditreport.com. That's the official portal to receive your free credit report, and you don't have to sign up or pay for anything. So if you go to a website that says something along the lines of, or has a domain name of free credit something or other, free credit report, those aren't as ideal. The Credit Karma one is not very good as well. We really want the one from annualcreditreport.com because it gives us a full report and shows us the most information. Now, a lot of attorneys are set up to pull your credit report for you, but I also like to have my clients pull their own credit report so they can see what's on it and cross-reference it to other debts. Now, speaking of other debts, we'll also want to see statements from debts that are not on your credit report. The most common type of debt that does not show up on a credit report are medical bills until they go into collection. But if you've got outstanding medical bills, they tend not to show up on your credit report. So we're going to need at least a statement or a collection letter or something that lets us know what those debts are and who they're owed to. And then lastly, on the debt front, we'll want the most recent statement from any secured debts. Again, this is more to cross-reference to what's on the credit report to see that you're current on payments or not current on payments. But secured debts are debts like your mortgage and your car payments, because there's a lot of things we have to do with secured debts and assets on the bankruptcy petition. So I definitely want to see at least the most recent statement so I know or can confirm the status of those claims. Next up, tax returns. So certainly we're going to need your most recent tax return. Now, if you haven't filed tax returns in a couple of years, you're going to have to get caught up. It's just a requirement of bankruptcy. So your tax filings have to be current, and we're going to need a copy at least of the most recent tax filing. I typically ask for 3 years of tax filings, but minimally you're going to need the most recent year that has come due, that tax return. Let's see here. Assets. Let's talk about assets. Proof of ownership of certain assets, certainly. So deeds, titles, so titles to vehicles, deeds to real estate. So that way we can confirm ownership. Then we'll also want to see any corresponding insurance policies that go along with those assets. So I want to see proof of car insurance, proof of homeowner's insurance. And then lastly, for assets, we need some sort of appraisal or market value analysis. Now for cars, that's pretty easy. KellyBlueBook.com can give you a rough estimate. I tend to use either the high trade-in value or low private party sale value, depending on what I need to do in the bankruptcy with those assets, or with the vehicles, I should say. For the house, you can start with a website like Zillow to get a rough estimate of what you think your house is worth. But if we're pushing up against, if we're pushing up against the homestead exemption, then we're going to want to have a realtor get us a current market analysis, taking into consideration the current condition and issues with the house. So that's market analyses with assets and proof of ownership and proof of insurance. And then it's just a hodgepodge of stuff from there. What we need kind of depends on your circumstances. So if you've been sued by a creditor, we're going to want to at least see the complaint that was filed, or the judgment. If there's a garnishment against you, we want to know who's garnishing you and reason why, whether it's the IRS, whether it's a judgment creditor. So there could be specific documents we need, and whether we need them just depends on whether you have those issues or not. So that's the rough list of the preparatory documents we need. So largely it's proof of identity, proof of income, proof of assets, namely bank accounts, retirement accounts, life insurance, real estate, and vehicles, as far as documents go. And then proof of debts. So that's credit reports, and then the corresponding statements, particularly for secured debts. Depending on whether we need to see credit card statements depends on your specific issues. If there's been a lot of recent activity on your credit cards, so in essence, have you still been using them in the lead up to bankruptcy? I'm certainly going to want to see the last 3 months of statements to assess what you've been charging on your credit card statements. But there you have it. That's the basic list of documents that you need to prepare and file a bankruptcy. My name is Matt Burkus. I'm a Colorado bankruptcy and debt relief attorney. I offer free initial phone consultations to residents of Colorado for the purposes of bankruptcy. We look forward to working with you, and best of luck.